That brings me on to the topic of the future. I talk about this a lot. I'm going to talk about it again. If I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Several vlogs later. Back in the early 1900s, even right around the time when airplanes first started flying, or slightly before, or even when they were flying, if you wanted to say something was utterly impossible, you would compare it, that impossible thing, to something that is absolutely impossible. You'd say, well, you can't do that because that would be like doing this completely ridiculously impossible thing. And what was that ridiculously impossible thing? It was going to the moon. Yeah. You can't do that. That would be like trying to go to the moon, which is obviously impossible. And now look at us. We've been there 6 times. 7 if you include the one we didn't walk on it. 8 actually, because they went around it I think twice at least. But we've walked on the moon as a species. I didn't do it. 6 times. 12 dudes. Sorry ladies. 12 dudes have walked on the moon. It's old hat. We went so much people got bored. So then they went up and made Skylab and the space shuttle. We all thought we'd have a moon base by now, but people got bored of it. Like, why have a moon base? What are you going to do up there? Anyway. So things are going to change. And you're not going to like it. Because you're not used to it. And one thing we can say about people is they don't like change. Generally. Some people love change, like my stepfather, Bob. He always listens to the new music. He's like 83, 84 years old now, and he's still listening to the newest music. He doesn't like the old music. As soon as it's old, it's gone. My dad, on the other hand, he stopped in 1963 and never progressed after that. He was a product of the 50s, and when Kennedy died, that was the end of it. He said, that's it. The country's gone to hell in a handbasket. And if you're looking for things to prove that, then you'll definitely find them when you look at, long hair and drug use and tattoos and piercing and all that. Oh my God, it's the end times. It's just a different way of doing things. So what's the change now? I'll tell you what the change is. In the future, and this could be within the next 100 years or the next 200 years, they will have bio-interactive implants, kind of like the Borg. And you will be able to have a chip injected into you. And it will go to a certain place in your brain where you can access the memory that is stored in that chip the same way you access memories of anything in your hippocampus. And you will know everything. It'll be like having Google in your head, instantly available, anytime you want it. And then the old people at that time will say, back in my day, you had to learn things. You had to go to school. You had to pass tests. Now, all you do is just think it and you know it. You don't know what hard work is. It all comes easy to you because you've got chips that make you smart. Maybe they'll even have a chip that'll raise your IQ. Who knows? Or genetic engineering will raise your IQ, or both. And the old people say, damn it, this isn't natural. Yeah, but it is natural. I'll tell you how it's natural. Humans are nature. Anything that a human does is natural. Just because it hasn't been done before by any species doesn't make it unnatural. Nothing in the universe that ever happens is unnatural, because everything in the universe is natural. Humans come from nature. Humans do things within nature. So it's all natural. Ta-da! You may not like it. You may say it goes against the traditional order of things. But you know what? People will do it anyway. Stuff like, you know, if God meant you to fly, he would have given you wings. We fly. If God meant you to go fast in a car like you can now, he wouldn't have given you horses. We go fast in cars and on bikes and on trains. There was a time when those were considered terribly unnatural and evil. Now they're commonplace. So maybe in the future, having chips in your head and all over your body and robotic limbs and being able to communicate telepathically with people via your chips, all that will seem completely normal, and they'll look back at us in our isolated existence, kind of like that episode of Star Trek when the Medusans entered Spock, or the Medusan ambassador entered Spock, and he said, "Oh, you live such isolated existences. You're so lonely." Maybe that's how they'll look at us in the future. How did you do it? How did you live with only your thoughts in your head? Like nowadays, the older people say, "Damn it, these people are texting all the time. They're a bunch of texting zombies." I have a friend who gave up his cell phone for the weekend, just as an experiment. He didn't touch his cell phone for the whole weekend. And he felt so disconnected. He felt so out of touch. He wanted to know things and he couldn't because he didn't have a cell phone. That was a weird experience for him. He realized how much he really enjoys having a cell phone, how much of a benefit it is to his life. Last minute turn signal. I cannot stand when the people do that last minute. Fill your head with expletives right now, folks. I will not do it for you. So yeah, that's going to be a thing in the future. Like it or not, that's where it's going. You can make laws and you can try to stand in the way of it, but if people want it, it's going to happen. For good or for ill. Like all this technology that we have now, it could be for ill. I mean, obviously, because we're polluting the environment terribly. Species are now going extinct at a rate unprecedented since the dinosaurs went extinct. They're calling this the Anthropocene, I think it's called. This era, the Anthropocene era. The era of humans, basically, and the stuff that we're doing. We're affecting the planet with all of our people and all of our technology. Maybe somebody, if you could resurrect somebody from 300 years ago, they'd say, "What are you doing to the planet? Look, you've destroyed it. You've paved everything. Where are the bears and the wolves? And oh my God." They would condemn us for all the things that we've done. We just see it as a natural part of life. Here we are, I'm riding around on my motorcycle, polluting the atmosphere. So you can stand in the way of change if you want. You can hate it, you can cuss it out and say, "This is terrible and where the hell are we going?" But you're kind of wasting your breath, wasting your energy, trying to stand against things that are going to happen anyway, like transgender people in the bathroom. It's going to happen. Just like gay marriage. People stood up, "Oh, gay marriage is terrible." Happened. Gays in the military. Terrible, never, never. Happened. Blacks and whites in the military together. Terrible, never, never. Happened. And now people will say, "Well, what about marrying a goat? Is that going to happen now?" Well, no, because people don't want to marry goats. And if enough of them did, it would happen. But there's a very, very small minority, maybe 1 in a million, who wants to marry a goat. So that ain't going to happen. People who want to have technology inserted into their bodies, going to happen. There's a market for it. People will find a way to do it. You hear about these people that have magnets implanted underneath their fingers so they can feel metal and electronic devices? It's given them a new sense. I think it's ridiculous, but hey, floats their boat. I think piercing is fairly ridiculous depending on how you do it. And you know those ones with the giant hoops in their ears? That's not for me, but you know, if it's for somebody else, that's fine. I'm not going to say, we should make a law to ban that. Nah. Do what you got to do.